o'clock in the morning, getting set for another day.
Can you
Another chance to
feel
change
it?
my story. I believe in my hustle. I know be lazy person, oh. But life is just a knock me boost. If it don't close, I go find another. If I fall down, I go try to cover. If it never walk me, I know they bother. Cause I believe say I go surely prosper. You know that I say one be we move. No matter what they say, we move.
Hello and welcome to another edition of We Move with Super Eagles, a program made possible by MTN, the official communications partners of Nigeria's national football teams, most especially the Super Eagles of Nigeria. It's a special edition of the show, and today, and that's why I am enjoying it on this side of the divide with this beautiful audience here. So, if you are watching the program for the very first time, our duty is to show you how the Super Eagles continue their preparations for the biggest football spectacle on the African continent. Cameroon is the place to be, so expect all the happenings from the Super Eagles camps right here. So talking about action from the Super Eagles camp, the Super Eagles did defeat Liberia. They now have one game left, just one game away from making it into the playoff round of World Cup qualifying on the African continent. Not the best performance from the Eagles in terms of performances. So I'll go with the crowd here and ask them whether or not they were impressed with what they saw about the Eagles against Liberia, and whether or not when they do get to those playoff rounds, they will be able to make it to the World Cup. Let me start with the man here. Were you impressed with how the Super Eagles played against Liberia?
I'm not really impressed with the way Nigeria played, but I'm happy that we won the match. The defenders like Leon Balogun did very well, and Ariba also really played very well, and Osimhen was really spectacular.
So as far as you're concerned, you weren't bothered by the fact that we didn't score in open play. We needed 2 penalties.
Yeah. I'm really bothered because we didn't break the defense. We didn't really penetrate into the defense. They were stopping us at the defense line, and the only chance we had to score goals were penalties. It's a bad one.
All right. Let me go with someone else. Let me go with the man very close to me here. So from what you've seen of the Super Eagles, especially that game against Liberia, they got one more game. We're going to the African Fiesta in January. Did that maybe make you feel like the Eagles can go all the way, or were you disappointed and still think that team needs a bit of work?
Okay, so basically for me, I think there's still work to do with the Eagles. You know, like watching the match with Liberia, it was a lucky win to me because 2 penalties. What's that? We couldn't even penetrate defense. We couldn't even, get proper shots on target in that game. So I feel there's work to do, but I think there's room for improvement. Shout out to Victor Osimhen. I think he really pulled up a very nice performance in the match and a really nice one.
That's a very fair one. Thank you very much. Of course, we'll take a break on the show. When we come back, remember, it is still We Move with Super Eagles. We'll be right back after this.
Feel the thrills, and the grills of African football as we move with the Super Eagles of Nigeria to the Summit of African Football come January 2022 in Cameroon, the land of the indomitable Lions. Catch all the excitement on and off the field of play as MTN, official communication partner of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, counts down to the African World Cup.
With a unique twice-weekly offering on DSTV SuperSports 9, Thursdays 9:30 p.m., Saturdays 8 p.m. and on NTA, Mondays 6 p.m., Saturdays 8:30 p.m.
As we move with the Super Eagles. For more details, follow us on @MTNNG, @MTN Nigeria, on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Welcome, MTN, everywhere you go.
Welcome back. It is still We Move with Super Eagles, and remember, it is proudly brought to you by MTN, official communications partners of Nigeria's national teams, and most especially the Super Eagles of Nigeria. As always, I'm not doing the show alone. I've got the 3 musketeers or 2 musketeers, but they're here. Bada Kisude Johnson is here first up. Great to have you, Bada.
Always a pleasure to be here, especially after another win for the team, though not impressive. On the balance of play, you could argue we deserved the win. Maybe It would have felt better if it was more impressive in terms of the quality of play over 90 minutes. But a win is a win. 3 points on the board. We move.
We move. We move. We definitely move. Moving on. Osereme Inegbenebo also joins us on the show today, the queen of freebies. Super Eagles aren't actually giving freebies out in qualification, but you surely have plans for us today.
Of course, but I can tell you for free, it doesn't involve a ball today. Definitely keep your fingers crossed. And Bada, a win is a win. There's no need to, this is not the time to analyze. They're just going up and did they win or they didn't win?
They won.
Leave it there. Thank you, Tolu.
All right, we move. All right, so let's get into it very quickly. Every month, football fans await the famous FIFA rankings to know how their teams have fared in the global and continental stages of football. The release of the rankings comes with the usual debate about who deserves to be where. Time to turn our attention to Africa's top 5 ahead of the new release of the FIFA rankings, which is set for November the 25th. Guys, if you look at those rankings, Nigeria are number 5, right there, smack at number 5, where if anything goes wrong and we slip into the other half of that top 10, it means that when those draws are held for the playoff round of World Cup qualifying, there will be a huge problem for the Eagles. Look at the guys who are currently in the top 5. There's Senegal, Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria, and of course, Nigeria. The Ivory Coast aren't here. Cameroon aren't here, unfortunately. It means that if we do not stay in this top 5, we could get anybody from Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, or Senegal in the playoff round.
Yeah, we have to, hope that nothing happens to the rankings. But then again, I will think that even if something goes wrong and we drop and we draw a top team, we have to be prepared to beat the best to qualify for the tournament. That's what it is. But of course, in an ideal world, you want to be a seeded team. You want to draw a team on paper that you should beat. But if we lost at home to Central African Republic, that tells you that we have to be ready to play just any opposition. You still have to beat who's in front of you, whether it's Algeria or Central African Republic, it really doesn't matter.
And then there's that debate also around whether or not we really should trust the FIFA rankings, because everyone talks about not understanding exactly how these things actually work.
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes you feel surprised when you see the FIFA rankings.
Yes, I know that, but I mean, for every organization like this, people, you always have people that have their doubts and people that have questions. I mean, the players that I agree with and I feel should be in the Super Eagles, you probably wouldn't agree, right? So,
You got it for one.
So, I mean, it's the FIFA rankings, but most often than not, you actually, I mean, Senegal number 1 on the FIFA ranking, it's no lie. Nigeria the 5th on the ranking is no lie. We have Equatorial Guinea at 34. That's no lie. They deserve to be there. Mali, number 10, they deserve to be there. So I think the FIFA ranking, yes, it may have some, should I say, like a kind of twist to it, but I feel...
I don't like the twist.
Yeah, but I mean, it's as transparent as it can be. You can actually see these teams that they perform and they do well. So I actually even believe that Algeria, come the next FIFA ranking, Algeria is actually going to go up.
But how on earth are the African champions who seem to be winning games in qualification? How come they're 4th on the rankings?
Oh, well, I don't know. But to them, it really wouldn't matter much. They're in the top 5. They probably would draw one of the middle tier teams. But I think that Algerian team is still probably one of the top 3 on the continent in terms of the strength of the team and the personnel that they've got. They've got Mahrez, they've got the West Ham guy, Berami.
Yeah.
A lot of decent players. And they'll be in with a shout. I personally want them to qualify because you want solid representation at the Mundial. You want teams that can go there and make a splash, teams that can compete.
Yeah.
Togo was at the World Cup in 2006. Apart from the novelty of having a team that's never been there before, they added absolutely no value. So I no disrespect to Togolese, I love them, but it is what it is. You want the top teams in Africa to make it, and that's why it's painful when 2 top teams draw each other because you know only one of them can make it.
Can make it through. All right, let's not also forget that those playoff rounds are when the FIFA rankings are released on November the 25th, it will be the top 10. It will be according to their places on the rankings that will decide whether or not they get seeded for that playoff round when it does come around. So let's move to Talking Tough next before we take a break. And our players have been talking tough as we move closer to the January date of the tournament in Cameroon. Guess who's talking tough today? We cornered the head coach of the Super Eagles, Gernot Rohr, and he has something interesting to tell Nigerian supporters.
The question is interesting. I was before in Francophone countries. What I see here in this country is I have more discipline, more respect. The players are really involved and they listen to your words. In the Francophone countries, there is more improvisation, there is more fantasy, and less discipline. That is my experience. Was in Tunisia, was in Gabon, was in Niger and Burkina Faso. I had the same feeling. They want to do well, they're working well, but it's not the same mentality. I prefer this one here because I believe that the players have a better education.
App that lets you chat, call, read, play, and listen to music. Enjoy Ayoba with MTN. Download Ayoba now.
All right, welcome back. It is still We Move with Super Eagles. I've still got the guys here, Bana and Ose. And next we go to Team Focus, where today we'll be looking at the defending champions of the African Fiesta, the Desert Foxes of Algeria, who have remained perennial foes of the Super Eagles. Remember, they knocked the Eagles out in the semi-finals of the last edition. And did you know that Nigeria actually defeated Algeria to win their first crown in 1980? The Algerians returned the favor, however, in 1990 when they did beat Nigeria in the final. Guys, Algeria are probably one of the strongest teams we've looked at on this Team Focus segment of We Move with Super Eagles. They are one of the teams that must be taken seriously.
Without a doubt, strong pedigree, strong history in the competition. Like you said, lost to us here in Lagos 3-0 in 1980, which was the first time we won. 10 years later, they beat us 1-0 in Algiers to win their one and only African tournament.
Before they won the previous
one. Before the last one. And they've always produced top quality stars like Dabelumi, Rabamaja. I think Rabamaja made his name, scoring some important goals for FC Porto in the Champions League in Europe. And these days, they can call on the Said Beramis and the Riyad Mahrezes of this world. Top quality league, fundamentally producing that sort of factory line of top quality talent always coming through. Of course, some of them play in France, playing in England. And on the evidence of how well they played on their way to winning the last one, where I don't know that there was any argument as to which team was the strongest team from the very first kick of the ball at the last tournament. They were clearly one of the favorites, and they justified that billing and that rating by winning it ultimately, painfully beating Nigeria in the semi-finals. And they go into this one as hot favorites as well. They're still strong, even now, stronger with particularly Said Berami. Fantastic football, I like him. Creative spark, can play wide, can play down the middle, creates, magic. Mahrez as well can provide moments of magic, moments of genius. And they're just all-round strong. And they also have a big history of producing top quality goalkeepers. So they're still one of my favorites to go on and win the tournament. And if we must get past top oppositions to win this one, Algeria has got to be one of the teams that must be giving Gernot Rohr sleepless nights.
Bada has talked about the number of players that the Algerians have produced over the years. But also, you have to talk about some of the most experienced guys they've created, they've produced over the last couple of years. And there have been some guys who have been in that team. They might not have progressed if you look at in terms of European football, like Sofiane Feghouli, Yassin Brahimi. They're not what they used to be, but they're still doing enough to get into this hugely talented Algerian team.
I mean, over the course of several episodes that we've had, we've spoken about how experience is very important going into the tournament, and these guys have got it. They've played for what, over 9 years for country, and yes, for club. I mean, they've had their prime. I mean, Brahimi had he played for Porto in his prime, and he was a as in whenever you remember him, he is synonymous with dribbling. When you think of one of the greatest dribblers, you think of him. And I mean, when he was at Granada, he was able to complete, I think, about over 100 successful dribbles. And he's a fantastic player. He's versatile. When you look at it, he can play as a winger, midfield, whichever position. And he's one player that he can bring that pace, he can bring the close control into the tournament. And experience, like we have said, is very, very important. He's capable of scoring goals. And we look at the tournament and we see what the Algerian team are bringing in. They're bringing experience, they're bringing dribblers, they're bringing pace, they're bringing skills. I mean, these guys are one of the most technical players you are going to come across at that tournament. And hopefully we get, like Bada said, I'm tipping them as favourites.
These guys are technical. They've got the right tactics. They've got greater exposure than most teams from this side of the continent. And that shows in how they set up and how they're able to adapt to what is in front of them. And they're closer to the Europeans in their approach. Again, because virtually all Arab teams are like that. You know, their style is more European than African. And I think that in itself is an advantage of some sort. And they've got, a league that can rival most, if not, the best of European leagues. And once you have that base, is always important because you can then, garnish that base with a sprinkling of top quality talent, playing.
All
right, let's not forget that at the African Fiesta, the Desert Foxes are grouped alongside Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, and Equatorial Guinea. Looks like an easy group on paper, though. They should be able to get out there.
Actually, very easy group. Cote d'Ivoire, I think they're the only ones to put up a fight in that team. No, Equatorial Guinea.
They're probably too technically savvy for that Ivorian team.
Equatorial Guinea, who are the players there?
You never know.
Which team? Who are the players now? I feel like it's really a very simple and straightforward win for Algeria. Bada has said it all. Bada has given you all the analysis. There's nothing to talk about again.
It's been all garnished
for Algeria.
All right, so we'll take a break. On we move with Super Eagles. When we come back, it will be time for Ose, the queen of freebies.
That's me.
We've been told to call you now.
I remember then when they asked me, what do you want to do in future? I always say I want to be a newscaster.
There are a lot of times I've told Trust that I don't believe you can't see.
Trust is always ready to do something extra. He's always coming out to say, can I do a bit more?
My mind was, where will this stop? How can I be going with a blind child from this age? How will I cope? He will always come to me, Mommy, I know I can't see, but don't bother, Mommy.
My wife now said, let him just go to village and relax. As they were going, they had accident. And the one that Trust was following, I lost the boy in the accident. When the scholarship came, it's as if they put water on a dry pot. That's how our joy was bubbling. If not, I don't know whether Trust could have graduated with his colleagues.
Life is a journey. You have to make that journey work.
Now, Algeria has been the focus of discussion. Now, the question is, what will be the focus of the Game On segment? The focus today, of course, will be your football knowledge. How knowledgeable are you? We will find out. So I'll throw a question to you guys, as you know, and whoever has the answer, just signify, pick up the microphone and answer. So, are we ready? Yes! I like the energy, I like the energy, Okay, so allow me to apologize in advance. I didn't set these questions. Okay, first question. Which of these players were not part of Super Eagles' winning squad who clinched Africa's most prestigious trophy in 1994? The names are Aloy Agu, Ben Iroha, Mutiu Adepoju, Finidi George, Garba Lawal, Thamsin Oliha, Victor Ikbeba, and Julius Agawa. Okay.
Julius Agawa.
And
Daniel Hago.
no.
Julius Agawa.
Okay.
And Garba Lawal.
Give him a round of applause. That, of course, is correct. The next question, I hope you get it because you did try. So the next question, who coached the Super Eagles at Africa's biggest tournament in which they emerged champions in 1994? Okay.
Clement Westerhoff.
We have very knowledgeable people in the audience today. So come on out and receive your gifts courtesy MTN. All right, you here and you here. So this, of course, I'm glad you won, honestly. I was rooting for you, so here you go. And this for you. What do you have to say to MTN?
MTN, thank you for these gifts. I'm so grateful.
Okay, so you can go back to your seats. So that, of course, has been the Game On segment. I was actually surprised that they got that first question correctly. Tolu, would you... I don't want to see. Don't lie in this place now. Would you have gotten that first question?
Do you even know where I was in 1994?
Bada, where were you in 1994?
I was at that Nations Cup.
I was friends with the members of the team.
These questions are easy.
Too easy, actually.
I know.
All right, thank you very, very much, Ose, for that. We would have gotten those questions.
Oh, yes. We were following the team all over the place, under 17, under 20.
He wasn't even born.
Yeah, Clemens Westerhoff and I were buddies, you know.
All right. Don't forget that you can, if you're just joining us, you can catch a rerun of the show. All you have to go to do is to go to YouTube, that is at MTN Nigeria, to watch reruns of previous editions of We Move with Super Eagles, and of course, this one. And just in case you're feeling a little disgruntled as to how the Super Eagles played against Liberia, we want to hear your comments. Follow us on social media at MTNNG on Instagram, and of course at MTN Nigeria on Facebook. Use the hashtag #ThisIsNiger and hashtag #WhereFootballLives to drop those comments, and we will be very, very glad to take them. But we've had fun on the show today, haven't we?
Yeah, and we're still counting down under 2 months to the tournament. A lot of work for the Eagles to do, especially after seeing them against Liberia. We do hope that they find the missing pieces, and our team is firing on all cylinders, ready to take on Africa and to conquer Africa come Cameroon.
All right. Will the Super Eagles be able to conquer Africa? That's the big question that we will be answering in the next less than 2 months from now. But from everyone here, I hope you've had fun. We have had fun. It's been We Move with Super Eagles, and it's been proudly brought to you by MTN, official communications partners of Nigeria's national teams, most especially the Super Eagles. My name is Tolu Shotade. I'll see you guys next time.
6 o'clock in the morning, getting set for another day. Another chance to change my story. I believe in my hustle. I know be lazy person. But life is just a knock me boost. If it don't close, I go find another. If I fall down, I go try to cover.